That's good. Mansur,
Ah, my man.
how you feeling?
I feel absolutely amazing. I feel absolutely amazing, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, but not as not as good as you, bro. Now that you've had some time to kind of think about your performance, man, like, how'd you feel about it?
I feel good about it. I feel good about it, but I still feel the same as I did when I gave the post-fight interview. I can get better at a lot of different things. I can show different parts of my game, but I'm grateful for the performance. I'm grateful for being able to show parts of me that I haven't been able to show in other fights when it comes to grittiness and determination and pushing through, especially in another round of a fight. I haven't gone past the first round, so I'm grateful for the opportunity to show myself in that second round.
Wes is he has a very funky, weird style. Was there anything that surprised you in the fight?
No, nothing that surprised me, but I've wrestled people like that before where they're very awkward. It's almost like their reactions don't match what they should actually be. He kind of reacts in opposite ways as a normal person would. So it's just a different type of fighter. I was able to conquer it, overcome it. Now we move forward.
Got to a second round. That was the biggest talking point. Was he has no cardio. He's only been out of the first. He's never been out of the first round. How does it feel to shut people up after that?
Man, it feels good. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm Mr. Iron Lung. You know, everybody gets tired. It's just how comfortable you are when you are tired. And I showed that aspect of myself, and I'm excited to show other parts of myself as well.
Can you talk about being Eric Nixick's science project and now being at Extreme Couture full time and being in Las Vegas?
That's it, man. Like, I'm literally his science project. I'm the little experiment that is. I'm grateful for all the people in Extreme Couture. I'm grateful for being able to pick each and every single middleweight's mind, even the guys that are smaller than me. I'm grateful to be able to pick their minds and to see their perspectives on different things, techniques, mentalities, because they are where I want to be. So it's just the most beautiful opportunity that I have inside this sport, being able to have these guys right there to just pick their minds.
What's next? What's the perfect return date? Do you want to fight anywhere? What's the perfect time frame for you?
The perfect time frame could be next weekend. But first, I'm going to recuperate, get my mind together, reassess tomorrow, and then we'll see what's next.
And finally, this is a very generic question, but how does it feel to finally be a UFC fighter?
Feels beautiful, man. It feels beautiful, but it also feels familiar. I've seen this so many times in my mind. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've romanticized this, even as a young kid, and then as I grew into a young man, it became more of a plan instead of a dream, and now I'm here.
I know a lot of guys envision over here to your left, right? I know a lot of guys want to go for that, quick finish in the first round, but do you feel like as a fight like this against Wes that pushed you a bit more, it will benefit you more in the long term given the experience you gained from this fight?
Absolutely. 110%. Man, these types of things make you grow as a man, as a fighter, and as a person. So I'm happy that I got the opportunity to be inside of there, be inside of that moment of grittiness. I just had to man up a little bit, and it is what it is. I overcame it.
Obviously, here in Vegas, Extreme Couture, we see all these guys come from all over the world to come fight for their place in the UFC, and so obviously they're very hyped. They get starstruck here, but do you feel like as if you're maybe even more hyped when you're in here, given the culture you're already around, being in Vegas in the fight capital of the world, and finally being able to say I'm a part of the UFC, and while living here in Vegas too?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Like, given how all these people from all over the world come, seeing the UFC, the Vegas, associate that with the fight capital of the world, but you live here, so do you think you could consider yourself even more hyped to get the contract, given you're already around that culture?
Yes, 110%. I feel like the culture that I'm around highlights every single part of this. I'm literally in there every single day with these guys. Once again, they're in the position that I want to be in. So it's like I'm seeing it. I'm seeing these guys that are already in main events, already fighting for world titles, already in the top 10. So it's like, I want to be there, and not only do I want to be there, but I can be there. I'm competing against these guys every single day, and I see my performances against them. I take that with a grain of salt, and then I look at the landscape of all the other middleweights, and I'm like, I can compete against those guys as well. Not only compete, I can win.
Obviously, Extreme Couture, stacked list of names inside that gym. One of them being Sean Strickland. Dana White just came and said that he'll be next for the title. How does feel hearing that? And is there a story you have with Sean Strickland? I know a lot of guys have funny stories with him.
Yeah. A lot of guys have funny stories, but also a lot of people don't know him. That's one of the best people, regardless of MMA, regardless of fighting, that I know. He's a real person. He's an honest man. And I feel like when people don't understand something, they kind of put a negative connotation to that thing. But he's a good man. He's an honest man, and people just get rubbed the wrong way because they don't like that honesty. So maybe it has something to do with themselves, but that's a real man. In addition to that, he's a hell of a fighter. He's world champion caliber, and I believe he will be world champion again.
Sure. And obviously, tying back to Vegas topic with you, do you feel as if now that you're officially in the UFC, living in Vegas, do you feel like a fighter in your specific case may benefit more being here in Vegas and fighting for the UFC rather than maybe another guy that's in a good gym but maybe far away from here? 110%,
man. I'm literally in the hotbed. You can only get better in situations like this as long as you understand that practice is practice. You take each day, whether it's good or bad, as a relative experience. I feel like you can get better no matter what. You just have to have a certain type of mentality and a certain type of mind in order to get better every single day. Each day is not going to be the best. Each day is not going to be the worst, but you just got to keep on moving forward, man.
And last one for me. I know when you're inside the cage, there's a lot of emotions that go through, but did you, by any chance, hear your father? He was pretty advocating for you from outside the cage. I'm not sure if you heard him.
Man, I could hear him from the moon and back. That's my man. That's my best friend, and I'm so grateful he was able to be here. But I can always hear him, man. I hear him when I don't want to hear him, if that makes sense. So,
it's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
Going into that second round, congrats on the win in the contract.
Thank you, brother.
What was, just because in case we didn't hear that, what was the conversations like to not only hear those familiar voices to keep everything calm in the madness, but also get you ready for that second round and say like, okay, this is the game plan. This is what we're going to do. This is the openings.
Those voices were reassuring. Definitely reassuring. Eric Nixick, Chris Curtis, those are things that we've spoken about many, many, many times before. And hearing them in live play, in live action, was only so similar and so familiar to the thoughts and experiences I've had before this fight. So it was as needed, and I'm grateful I got to hear those things during the fight. They definitely helped me recenter myself.
And how cool is it now that you, like you mentioned with Harold, the guys you train with, you're like, you know, brothers in arms and men that have fought at the Apex, and now you can say like, hey, you know what? I fought there too now. I could say I'm an Apex guy.
I mean, it feels amazing, man. It feels amazing. I've seen this place so many different times. I've seen the 3 letters of the UFC on so many different buildings. Now I'm here. Now I'm an employee, and I'm grateful.
It's awesome, man. And last for me, just for fun, your weight class, kind of a big deal fight coming up. Give me a pick, a little analysis of what goes down this weekend.
Of Adesanya and Duplessis. I see Adesanya winning. I see him winning. I see it not being as easy as some people might see it, but I definitely see him winning. I definitely feel he has the edge against a type of opponent like that. But we'll see. You know, this is MMA. This is fighting. Anything can happen. But that's what I believe.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.